Hey, yo, what's up? So, I wanted to talk about how can you really keep a girlfriend? Let's just pretend that I am somehow capable of getting a girlfriend, right? How could I ever keep a girlfriend living in a Western country, right? Or I guess not even just a Western country, right? Living in a country or living in a place where internet access is readily available, right? How can you keep a girlfriend when that's possible, right? Because once a woman has access to the internet, right, she has access to social media. And having access to social media and dating apps and all that stuff makes her dating options like worldwide, right? So she doesn't just have to choose from local guys or even just guys within maybe an hour or two drive away, right? It's she can choose from guys while sitting wherever, right? She can be sitting on the toilet taking a dump, right? And then she can just scroll through whatever hot guys, whatever chads there are, in a different country. It's like, think about it. So even if you have a girlfriend, you're on such a like tight leash basically, right? Like, how can you even keep one, right? Especially if you're an undesirable guy. Maybe if you are a Chad, right? Or you get to just be first, right? The just be first. If you actually are legit, was it Chad and maybe her type two, and just if the odds of all this lining up are just so slim, right? It's like, how do you even keep a girlfriend if all you have to do is mess up once or make her do something that makes her feel like you messed up, right? Is you have to do something wrong, right? According to her, you did something wrong because it may just be something that's completely normal, right? Like, let's say, I don't know, you walked funny, or or I don't know, you ate something the wrong way, right? It's like, oh, or it's like something weird, right? It could be something completely innocent, and like I said, you walked the wrong way. It's like, oh, you I don't know, you tripped on a crack in the sidewalk or something, right? And then she's like, oh, ew, gross. He can't walk properly, or like it's something like that. Like I said, or maybe you just hold something the wrong way, or like it's like I said, right? It doesn't even have to be logical. It all, or you say something weird, right? Let's say you're just talking to her and your voice suddenly cracks. It's like, bro, it's over, right? Then she's like, ew, gross, or whatever, right? And then she loses attraction. It's like, what do you do then? It's like you're not safe to mess up like that, right? Because what she can do, like I said, she can just what is it? Excuse herself. Go to the while you're on a date, right? Excuse herself. Go to the bathroom. Get on a dating app or social media and just find another guy, right? And or you don't even have to do anything wrong like that. She can just get bored, right? And then bam, she is. That's the thing. If you're not the perfect guy, right? And let's be honest, right? It's always impossible to be the perfect guy because maybe there's always a guy who's taller, who's bigger, who's better looking, better hair, he has better facial proportions, better, he's a bigger frame, bigger D, uh richer. It's like whatever it is, right? There's always a guy who's going to mog you in one way or another, right? It's impossible to be completely maxed out, right? Because even if you are almost, let's say you are like you're 6'5", I don't know, with no hair recession, you know, close to ideal bone, whatever structure, but it's like, I don't know, that she's just feeling like she wants to do something that requires a lot of money one day, and you're not the richest guy. Then she just goes on her social media and just gets finds a richer guy who's at least somewhat decent looking or whatever, right? Or uses him for the money, right? I don't even know, or it doesn't even have to be. It's like, oh, you're 6'5" and she wants a 6'7" guy, suddenly, right? It's like, bro, it's over. It's like, what are the odds of that, right? Because it's like, if you're 6'5", you probably don't see much taller people, just in your daily life, right? I wouldn't know because I'm not 6'5", but I would imagine, right? But then it's like, you're not safe from getting mogged, right? It's crazy, right? As long as a woman has access to social media, it's actually so brutal. When I think about it, it's like, why would I even want a girlfriend at that point, right? If I know I'm just that disposable, like, what do you even do? It's actually brutal, isn't it? And you can't even say the opposite. You can't even cope. Like, and say it's the opposite, right? It's like a woman can't even say, well, it's the same for guys too, right? Because, let's be real. It isn't the same for guys, right? If it was, don't you think the average guy could, do that too, right? But the average guy can't do that. Your average girl can. That's the crazy part, right? A nothing special, a legitimately nothing special, not any. No, she doesn't have to have exceptional bone structure or anything, right? Just a normal average woman can, just basically shop for a. Yeah, basically shop like Amazon, right? You just open up a dating app like it's Amazon, and bam, you can just shop for whatever guys you want, right? Or social media, right? Can an average guy do that? No, like, much less, a very significantly below average guy like me, right? That's impossible. So yeah, so how in the world would a below average guy, right? Like, significantly below average guy ever be able to let's cope and say, I'm like I said, I'm able to get a girlfriend. How would I ever even be able to keep a girlfriend, right? That's the thing. I wouldn't be able to, right? Because I just have to mess up once. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be a real, actual bad thing that I do, right? It just has to be something she perceives as a bad thing. Like, whatever. Or she just has to get bored, right? I don't even have to do anything wrong, right? Or wrong, like I said. Like, oh, I just got bored of you. It's like, oh, you weren't doing whatever. It's just like that crazy, right? Like I said, what is it? What is it, the first girlfriend I had, right? Like I said, was it, even though she knew I was like, was it a loser virgin and all that stuff, right? And she's like, oh, it's fine. What is it? It's like, I'll take your virginity and all that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, right? It's like, it was still not enough, right? Like, it was that unenjoyable for her, right? Because it's like, I guess that because no one really understands the level of inexperience that is being a 30-year-old kissless, hugless, headholdless, dateless, everythingless virgin, right? Because most guys just don't have that perspective, right? You really, even at 25, right, you don't have that much perspective on how far behind being that way at 30 is. It's like, you think at 25, right? Because I thought at 25, like, damn, you know, I'm pretty much life's almost over, right? It's like, I'm basically, like, officially considered, like, an adult, right? Like, most people will say, oh, you're a young adult or whatever, like 25, right? For sure. And it's technically, oh, your brain stops developing or whatever, right? And still nothing, right? Still nothing. And so you feel far behind there, and you already graduated college, where you're supposed to be technically easy, right? But if it isn't easy in the places where it's easy, then it's over. It really is over. It's like you never even had a chance. It's like, never even had a chance. That's how that's how brutal it is for some guys, right? Where you can think and hope, maybe I got a chance, bro. It's like, just give it time, bro. That's the biggest gaslight, or what is it, false hope giving, or whatever you want to call it, right? Um, when people say, "Oh, bro, there's still time," right? It's like, how, what, how, when, when like when is there when is it time to just call it quits then, right? Because people say that, people will always say that when you're 15 and you never had a girlfriend, they'll say, oh bro, there's still time. I remember reading on Reddit, oh, there's still time, bro, you're 15. Then, oh, again, like, you check it through your late teens, you're graduating high school at 18, and they're like, oh bro, no, 18 is still young, there's still time, bro. Then, you get to like midway through college, you're like 20 years old, and it's like, you go in there and looking or asking again, and it's like, oh, what is it? Is it too late now, bro? And they're like, no, bro, you still got time. You still got some college left. 20's not that old to be a kissless, hugless, handholdless virgin. You're just a late bloomer, bro. All this stuff, and then you graduate again. You're like 22, 23, and same thing. They're like, oh, bro, don't worry, maybe it'll just happen after. There's still time. You're still young, bro. Then you get 25, same thing. And then even at, the same old. And then 30, same old, right? There's still time, bro. You're 30. You're still young, bro. It's like, honestly, they'll say the same thing when you're 40, right? It's like, oh, bro, don't worry, there's still time. You're a late bloomer, bro. It's like, at what point has enough time passed, right? When will enough time pass and it'll just happen with time, bro. When how much time do I need to give this, right? Is the question. They're like, well, I don't know, bro. You just gotta wait. You're a late bloomer. It's like, come on, bro. Like 25 plus, for sure 30. You can't even call it a late bloomer. At that point, you just gotta call it a never bloomer, right? It'll just never really happen. Because like I said, people just lack the perspective. It's like, think about it. There's people, in high school, even younger than high school, right? When people are hugging and kissing, right? And it's like, you imagine that. Potentially middle schoolers are mogging you in experience. It's over, bro. At that point, it's like, imagine you're 40 years old and all this stuff, right? Some guys will be like 40 years old, recessed hairline and all that stuff, and still, they're still getting mogged, in dating experience by like 10-year-olds. Because there are some, like, 10. I remember being in like fifth grade, even before fifth grade, right? I remember some guys, were more popular with the girls there. The girls would hug them and want to play pretend house, whatever. Or, they'd pretend to oh, this guy's my he's my husband or whatever, right? It's like, oh, they'd pretend to be married and stuff. Like, think about it. This was in like first grade that I remember. It's like, think about that. Girls were already selecting guys since the first grade. And at that point, it's like, whatever. It's like, I didn't even think about it, right? It's like, whatever, I don't really care. But then, as time goes on, I mean, I guess I would always care a little bit, right? It's like, okay, well, maybe I would think, I wonder if any girl likes me, right? I would think about that, right? But that's as far as the thought got. But then, as time passed, and then I thought, oh, this girl's pretty or whatever. Like in the fifth grade, I was gonna say I already talked about it, but I haven't talked about it since the old channel got deleted. So I mean, I guess I'll briefly touch on it here. That I've wanted a girlfriend since I was 10 years old, and I remember my fifth grade. So that was around the fifth grade, and I remember I had a crush on this girl. Right, I still remember. Honestly, it's weird how I can still remember her first and her last name and what she looked like, right? And I remember the last day of school, she actually talked to me. Um, but it was the last day of fifth grade, so we would go to elementary school, so I never even saw her after that. And I'm not going to cope and say, oh, bro, she totally liked you because she talked to you. No, because I think we actually did go to the same school for middle school, but she didn't even talk to me at all there. So it's like, it doesn't even matter, right? It's like she didn't even actually like me. But yeah, she just briefly talked to me, and I felt like, wow. It's like, wow, she's talking to me, right? It's like, wow, like so infatuated, right? Because it's like, wow, do I have a chance, right? It's like, oh, it's like, because I really like this girl. It's like, wow. And yeah, no, no, no. What a surprise! Nothing happened, right? Spoiler alert! Everyone already knows. It's not even a spoiler because everyone already knows. Like, I never had a girlfriend, right? And so yeah, you think about it, But and in fifth grade though, they had a school dance, right? Think about it. They had a school dance in the fifth grade, and obviously, again, no surprise, no girl asked me, and I didn't even have. There was not even a girl to potentially ask, to be honest, right? So you could say, "Oh, bro, just ask out any girl, bro. You can choose whatever girl you want, right?" But the reality is, no, I didn't, right? I don't even have a choice, right? Because there's not even a girl that I was, kind of acquainted with to even ask. So there was no girl that would have said yes for sure. I mean, no girl would have said yes with like any kind of percentage, right? Because it wasn't even during school; it was like after school. So what girl's gonna want to waste time after school to go be with a guy she doesn't even like? No one will, right? It's like obvious. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, side tangent there, right? No girl, my fifth grade crush didn't like me. I don't. She just talked to me to basically tell me that, oh yeah, was it that her sister and my younger brother were in the same class, right? And it was very brief, but obviously this was back when obviously in the fifth grade I wasn't that black pilled, to be honest. So I still thought there was hope, but yeah, my mind coped and thought, there's hope, bro. Maybe she likes you, but it's, like really thinking about it, she just said that brief, it was a very brief interaction saying how my younger brother and her younger sister were in the same class. That was it. But my mind coped and thought, that small interaction, maybe there's hope. But nothing happened. Obviously, right? Like I already said. So yeah. Oh, man, think about it. Since fifth grade, so like almost 20 years now, basically, and no girls, right? Like think about it. That's isn't that crazy to think about how nothing has really changed in 2 decades, right? It goes to show how if you don't get girls in your young years, right? Then you're just not gonna get them in the future, right? And the thing is, I always find so annoying and like these guys lack self awareness. Completely side tangent, right? Where I guess on like the looks maxing stuff, right? These guys say, "Oh man, you just all this excessive. This is all excessive, bro. You don't need to do all this stuff. You just gotta talk to girls or whatever, right?" But they're always guys say, "Oh yeah, well I never had a problem with the girls, right? I never had a problem with them. You just talk to them and whatever, right?" It's like exactly, bro. It's like you never had problems with the girls. Like, yeah, so no. It's like obviously you're gonna be able to just talk to them. No shit, right? It's it's like if you if you don't have issues talking to them when you're younger and you don't have to actually put any effort to do anything and they just naturally want to talk to you, then yeah, obviously you're going to think all this other stuff is excessive, right? Cuz you don't have to put an effort. It's like, "Oh, just exist, bro, and then girls will like you." But think about it. If you just existed for years upon years upon years upon years, basically decades, and you can't even get basic attention, right? Not even basic acquaintance or basic casual talk from women, then it's over, bro. Then what are the odds that it's suddenly gonna change, right? You don't get like the men age like wine and they oh bro, you'll peak at 20, you'll peak at 30, bro, whatever, all this stuff, right? Is just a cope, right? Because people don't get more attractive as they get older, right? It's like even guys, right? It's like it's a cope to think so, you know. most guys are probably going to, like, the younger you are, like, I would say probably around, mid-20s is probably when you'll look, probably as you at your peak attractiveness, right? Your peak potential attractiveness, right? If you were to have everything, maxed out, you'd look the most attractive around there. Maybe, like, let's say somewhere in like your mid 20s, right? Around there probably. But there you go. It didn't happen then. Well, and after that, right? It's like just a downhill. Like, maybe it's not like super downhill where it's like, oh yeah, you turn 30 and it's like, oh, you got a recessed hairline, you got a beer gut and all this other stuff, right? But still, it's just going to go downhill from here, bro, right? It's like you don't suddenly go from 30 to 40 and just like look magically better, right? Like relatively you might look better if you didn't take care of yourself at 30 and then you did it at 40, but like, realistically, if you took care of yourself at 30, you would look better than you do if you only started taking care of yourself at 40, right? And the same thing from 30 to like 20 or whatever. But yeah, so it's like, I already passed my peak, right? It's like, and I didn't even peak, bro. It's like, imagine that. It's like, oh, bro, you'll peak here and then, but it's like there was, so my peak was like a valley, right? So it's like my life is Death Valley, and then sea level is my peak, bro. That's how you know it's over, right? When sea level is your peak and like Death Valley is your norm. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of brutal. Meanwhile, some guys will have like, Mount Everest will be their peak, and I don't even know what another tall mountain is. Was it the second tallest mountain? I don't know in the world is their normal life, right? And they never even get to sea level. Their lowest is like, I don't know, maybe it's still a very tall mountain, but it's not sea level, where it's basically nothing like you, which is your peak, right? That's how you know it's over. So yeah. So how do you even keep a girlfriend if you're an undesirable guy? I don't know. TLDR. You just don't. How do you even get a girlfriend? To be honest, right? If you're an undesirable guy, you just don't. So I don't know. It's all kind of it all kind of comes back to looks inflation, right? Looks inflation in the internet, and dating becoming like worldwide, basically, right? Where it's like you can't even it's not just you don't it isn't just enough to mog locally. You have to mog globally. That's the brutal truth, right? And so if you thought it was hard to mog locally for you, then it's like whatever, bro. Then you can't just be the big fish in a small pond. You got to be the big fish in the ocean. You got to be like the biggest fish in the ocean to even get a chance, right? It's like, oh, it's like, oh, I don't know. You think you're a shark? Well, you better watch out because there's killer whales, right? And the killer whale will eat you up even though they're not even a fish, right? So yeah, I don't even know. I guess I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. TLDR. It's over, bro. Later.